Hey, welcome to AP Business. If you're watching this, you're about to start Unit 1. One question. That's all this unit is really asking. How does a business survive and actually win? Sounds obvious, right? But by the end of this episode, you're going to see why most businesses get this wrong. And you're going to know exactly what separates the ones that make it from the ones that don't. Two topics today. 1.1 and 1.2. Let's go. Topic 1.1. Let's start with the most basic question possible. What is a business? A business is an entity that solves problems with products. That's the whole definition. Strip away everything else. The name, the logo, the office, and that's what's left. Someone has a problem. This entity offers a solution. Now those products come in two forms. Goods, physical, tangible things. A phone, a water bottle, a pair of shoes. You can hold it. And services, intangible. A haircut, a tutoring session, a Spotify subscription. You can't hold it, but you're still paying for it. And size? Doesn't matter. A food truck around the corner? A business. Apple? Also a business. Same definition, different scale. Okay, stop. This slide is the one students could get wrong on the AP exam, and it's literally tested directly. Customer and consumer are not the same word. Customer equals buyer. Consumer equals user. And here's the part almost everyone misses. A customer doesn't have to be a person. A customer is an individual or a business that purchases a good or service. A factory buying raw materials? That factory is a customer too. Here's the classic example. Your mom buys a box of cereal. She's the customer. She paid. You eat it. You're the consumer. You used it. Two different people. Two different roles. Can they be the same person? Yes. You buy a coffee and drink it yourself. You're both. But on the exam, they will give you a scenario and ask you to tell them apart. Don't mix them up. AP Exam Alert in the top right corner of this slide for a reason. This distinction is tested directly. Lock it in. So a business identifies a customer. Now what? It needs to find problem-solution fit. That means find a real problem, a real need, a real want, and then build a product that actually solves it. 3 moves. First, understand the customer's problem. Second, decide which customers you're actually going to serve. You cannot serve everyone. Third, build a targeted product or service that fits. And here's the part students skip. Hypothesis testing. You don't just assume your product works. You form a hypothesis. I think customers need this, and then you go test it. Because if you launch without validating fit, you're just guessing. And guessing is how businesses die before they even start. This is the most important slide in topic 1.1, and it shows up in FRQs, so pay attention. But first, the base word itself. Value is the worth or benefit of a product to customers. That's the definition, word for word. Everything else in this slide is built on top of it. 2 terms. They sound similar. They are completely different. Value creation. Your product actually responds to what the customer needs. You made something people genuinely want. Customers love you. Value capture. Your price is greater than your cost to produce. Price greater than cost. That gap? That's your profit. Look at the visual. 3 layers. Bottom, cost to produce. Middle, price you charge. Top, the value the customer gets. Value capture is that spread between price and cost. Value creation is whether the product solves the problem at all. Here's the brutal reality. You need both. A product people love, but that doesn't make money, you go under. A product with solid margins, but that solves no real problem, customers leave. Game over either way. Creation makes you loved. Capture keeps you alive. You need both to survive. It's literally on the slide. 4 concepts. 1 foundation. Business produces and distributes products. Customer buys, consumer uses. Not the same person, not the same role. Problem-solution fit means serving a validated, real need. And value creation plus value capture together equals a business that actually survives. Topic 1.2. Markets and competitive advantage. A market is where buyers and sellers meet, physically or virtually, and exchange voluntarily. Nobody forces a transaction in a market. Both sides agree. Sellers are businesses. Buyers are customers. Between them sits a product and a price. But here's the real question for any business. It's not just, can I sell something? It's, can I win in this market? And that's what competitive advantage is all about. That's where 1.2 takes us. So who actually sets the price? Neither side does it alone. Price is the result of tension, a tug-of-war between buyers and sellers. Sellers want higher prices. More price, more profit. Buyers want lower prices. They want to spend less. The price that actually lands in the market is the outcome of that tension. That's the prevailing market price. And look at what that voluntary exchange actually produces. Sellers walk away with revenue. Buyers walk away with value, a product they needed or wanted. Both sides win. That's the entire reason the exchange happens. One important flag here, and the slide calls it out in the AP exam alert box. Drawing supply and demand curves is out of scope for this exam. You don't need to draw graphs, but you do need to understand the logic, why prices form the way they do. That logic matters. Competitive advantage. This is the concept that ties everything in 1.2 together. Competitive advantage means outperforming your rivals in the same market. When you do that, you win more customers. You grow your market share, your slice of total sales in that market. And more market share with the right margins means higher profit. This is the game. Not just make a product. Make a product better than whoever else is trying to sell the same thing. How intense is the competition in a market? 3 dials control it. First, how many rivals are in the market? More rivals, more pressure. Second, how different are the products? If everyone sells the exact same thing, there's nothing to pick between them but price. Third, how easily can rivals undercut you? When competitors can offer the same product at a lower price, the squeeze gets real. Crank all three, lots of rivals, identical products, everyone able to cut prices, and pricing power disappears. Less control over what you can charge. That's why businesses fight to stand out. If you're identical to everyone else, price becomes your only weapon, and a price war is a race to the bottom. Nobody wins long term. So how do you stand out? 5 ways. Higher quality products, unique product features, better customer service, lower prices, more effective marketing. Notice lower prices is on this list. Competing on price is technically differentiation. But it's the weakest move because any competitor can match it tomorrow. The stronger plays are quality, features, and service. Things that are harder to copy. Things that give customers a reason to choose you, even when you're not the cheapest. If you can't differentiate at all, you compete only on price. And then you're stuck in a race to the bottom. Stand out or compete only on price. That's the choice. Even if you build a great competitive advantage, someone could still try to copy you. That's where barriers to entry come in. These are obstacles that keep new rivals out of your market. 5 to know, and the AP exam alert says it straight. FRQ commonly asks you to identify and explain one. Intellectual property rights. Patents protect your product legally. Competitors can't copy it. Regulations limiting rivals. Government rules that make it costly or complex to enter. High startup costs. Some industries just cost a fortune to break into. Airlines, semiconductors, pharmaceuticals. The capital requirement alone keeps most players out. Large-scale low prices. If you're massive enough to produce at low cost, new entrants can't match your prices. Limited access to resource suppliers. If you've locked up the key suppliers, competitors can't get what they need to build. Know all 5. Know how to explain any one of them in a real scenario. Take competitive advantage to its absolute limit. That's a monopoly, a market with zero competition. One business. One unique product. No rivals competing for your customers. Maximum barriers to entry, keeping everyone else out. That's maximum pricing power. No rivals means you set the price. Real monopolies are rare and often regulated. But the concept matters for the exam, and it marks the top of the market structure spectrum. Which brings us to the final slide. 3 market structures. AP exam alert. Know all 3, their characteristics and the right competitive strategy for each. Bottom tier, highly competitive. Many rivals, identical products, zero pricing power. Go to example here, markets for agricultural goods and other commodities. Wheat, eggs. One farmer's wheat looks exactly like another's. Your only move is efficiency and cost cutting. Middle tier, differentiated. Several rivals, but each has distinct features, moderate pricing power. You compete on what makes you different. Top tier, monopoly. No rivals, unique product, maximum pricing power. The pattern is simple. Fewer rivals plus more unique product equals more pricing power. The higher you climb on this staircase, the more control you have. Markets set the stage. Competitive advantage wins it. Market, where buyers and sellers interact voluntarily. Prevailing market price, set by the tension between buyers and sellers. Competitive advantage, outperform rivals in the same market. Differentiation plus barriers to entry builds a stronger, more defensible advantage. Monopoly, maximum advantage, zero competition. And look at that spectrum at the bottom of the slide. Low pricing power on the left. high pricing power on the right. Where your business sits on that line determines your entire strategy. That's EP1, 2 topics, 1 through line. To survive, a business has to solve a real problem, make money doing it, and find a way to outcompete everyone else fighting for the same customers. If you got something out of this, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in EP2. Let's keep going.